I was pointy end of the spear, and I enjoyed my job, and overnight it was taken away from me. I haven't skied since when I had 2 legs.
It was getting to that point in life where you had to put down your warrior aspect.
1 leg, 1 arm, or even missing digits.
I'll never ski again. I'm done.
See, if it wasn't for you doing any of this, I think it'd really put me off coming skiing, you know what I mean? He's a young soldier going to war. He's not the same person as when he comes back.
Nobody in front of you, nobody behind you, and just go where you want to go. It's like freedom. You're going to the top of the world and you're like, wow, this is liberating.
I'm James Malone, I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, I'm a filmmaker and director of Once We Were Warriors. The Once We Were Warrior project, it all started with coming back on a second RMA ski trip, and I came back for a longer period of time, so 2 weeks. And whilst on that trip, it really became clear to me that the outdoor and adaptive sports organisations and charities that run these trips they're really doing the lads a huge benefit. There's no pressure. They get to try something new, they get to learn a new skill, they get to gain confidence in that skill, they get to gain independence. I felt from a filmmaking perspective, as one of those lads or a former Royal Marine that had gone through a bit of a personal journey and trauma, that I really understood how they may be feeling in certain situations, so I could reflect that and get that across in my filmmaking. And I genuinely believe that my job as a veteran to represent them in the right light.
A great filmmaker told me that a good documentary or a good film needs 3 key components. One's great characters, number 2 is a really good storyline, and number 3 is good visuals. And the most important of those 3 is great characters. And then James had recently produced Finding an Edge, and anyone who served in the military knows that we have fantastic characters, just brimming with genuine stories. And next year marks the 10th anniversary since combat operations ended in Afghanistan. And seeing the visuals that James has produced alongside Charles, I think Once We Were Warriors has got all the ingredients for a fantastic documentary that's going to mark the 10th anniversary since combat operations ended in Afghanistan. So we have fantastic characters. We have an amazing story about human resilience and entrepreneurial grit and determination, and Chamonix provides an amazing setting for a fantastic film.
My name is Charles Logan Clare. I served as a sniper in the British Army for 15 years with multiple deployments across the world, including operational tours ranging from South America to North America, Africa and in the Middle East. I've been a documentary filmmaker now for 3 years, but I had a camera in my hand since over a decade ago. A couple of years ago I lost my best friend to suicide. I wish he would have known that there was something like this, like an outlet for him, but I don't think he did. This is a way to raise awareness for people who don't know schemes like this exist, so they can support it, and it's also a way to inspire others who are in the same position, whether they have suffered injuries or they're struggling with their own demons. It's a way to inspire them to think I can do it, I can make it. And I wish that, James would have known about this. What sets our documentary apart from other documentaries is the fact that it's made by veterans. I may not have been on the same operational tour, and my operational tour was obviously not as kinetic as Herrick 9. But I still know what it's like to have to put your faith in other people, and that's what these guys are doing with us. And they're putting their faith in us to kind of give that honest account of their story. And I generally don't think anyone else can get that access. or can be that trusted person. And it takes a veteran to tell the veteran story.
The impact that we can have is on the wider public consciousness, not just veteran communities and their loved ones and friends and families. It's about kind of taking a second look at what a veteran really is, because I think it's quite an old model. It's an old model. If you know your initial thoughts of a veteran are maybe old and bold. Someone has had a glittering career. If I look at my journey into being a veteran, you know, I left at age 23. I certainly didn't look or feel like a veteran. So I think it's broadening that understanding with a more contemporary audience, with a contemporary look at what a veteran really is in today's age. What's the crowdfunding going to help us achieve? Well, first and foremost, having that fundraising and that money is going to get our foot out the door. It's going to get us our plane ticket and get us to France. It's going to allow us to have the right team in the right places to be effective and to be able to produce a professional documentary that's worthy of Netflix or worthy of Amazon Prime or any other streaming service. That's what this deserves, and that's what we need to create. So it's like the funding is, without the funding we simply can't do it, and I think crowdfunding and getting in support from the veteran community will really help everyone feel part of it, because it is a team effort, and that extends to the people that support us. So when we achieve funding and our first milestone, which is 20% of the total cost of the production, that basically allows us to get tickets booked, ensure our spot, and make sure the cameras are ready to go on day one of the ski trip. So it's vital, really. We want to have practiced, done all our recce's and sorted out all our logistics, so that we can turn up day one and film with the minimum impact to their ski trip away.